Hello, my name is Peter. Welcome back to my channel. This is Peter Fiction, the place where we do not have the brains for literary fiction. Welcome back to another week, another video. So today I will be doing my March wrap up and my April TBR. I've always wanted to do these type of videos, but finally, I have my chance because during the past few months, I didn't read enough books to make a video about them. But I'm happy to say that this month I have read a considerate amount of books, so I can talk about them with you guys. And I will also be sharing all the books that I plan on reading this month. As I've mentioned before, I'm not a big planner when it comes to my reading. I just pick up a book that I'm feeling at that moment that I need to pick up a new book. But I will talk about some books that I will definitely be reading and then give some alternative options about some additional books that I might read. So yeah, without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. So as soon as March began on March 1st, I think, so I read an entire book within a day, and that book was Bridge to Terabithia. I made a video about this book, about my experience reading this book. This is one of my all-time favorite movies from my childhood, and so I decided to pick this book up because I had never read the book, and I was interested to see how much was different than the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I totally recommend you picking it up. I think I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's a very short book, so you can read it in a couple of hours if you were a fast reader. And yeah, this was a great beginning of March for me. And the next books that I read are part of the same series, and this series is The Hunger Games. I read only the trilogy. I read the trilogy by Suzanne Collins so as to prepare myself for Sunrise on the Reaping. I actually listened to these books on audiobook. Tatiana Maslany was the narrator and she did a pretty amazing job. It didn't take me as long to finish all 3 of them. I did it within a week. And I actually had read The Hunger Games and Catching Fire only once, probably more than a decade ago. And I had reread Mockingjay 2 times. One time when the first movie was out, and another one when the second part was out. But yeah, I love these books so much. They're rooted deep into my heart, and yeah, I cannot imagine a world without these books in it. So yeah, the next book I read is, of course, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, the legend Suzanne Collins. This book broke me into a million pieces. This was an amazing read. It was everything I didn't know I needed, and even more than that. I loved the book. I will make a separate video talking only about this book because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. Yeah, this is I actually have a funny story about this book because I had pre-ordered the hardback in a local chain bookstore in Greece, and normally when a new release comes out, it's not immediately available to us in Greece. Normally we have to wait a couple of weeks before we get it. So I visited my parents, as you saw in my last video, and the following day after the release, I got a message that this book was available for me to pick up from the store. And 2 days later, they called me again and said, "Are you planning on picking this book up? Because we have a high demand for it and we need to give it to another person." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, please keep it. I will be back in 2 days. Please keep it for me. I need it. I cannot live without it." So I got scared and I sent a friend pick the book up, and it's in my hands now, and I'm so happy about it. It goes without saying that this book was a 5 out of 5 star for me. Given how much I love the Hunger Games trilogy, one might think that this book would not surpass them in the ranking of my favorite books, but it did the damn job. I think this is my top favorite Hunger Games book ever, and I cannot wait for the movie. If you haven't picked this book up yet, what the heck are you doing with your life? Just read it. It's very quick. And the last book that I read this month was The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. This book was actually a part of my book club that I have with my friends. We read it and we talked about it last week. It was an okay read for me. It wasn't one of my favorites by any means. I enjoyed reading it. The main point that I didn't like about this book is that the side characters were a bit flat. I think that had they been more fleshed out, I would have enjoyed this book more because it has the potential of having an amazing crew of characters. Just it didn't get there. I think Amina took everything upon herself and tried to do everything on her own, and it just didn't work for me. Also, I think Shannon Chakraborty wasn't sure if this was going to be a series or not. I think the thing that would make it a series was an afterthought, maybe. I think it wasn't very built up to be a series. But yeah, I just saw a few weeks ago the author just announced that she has finished working on the second book and that it will be out later this year, I think. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. If you like pirates, then this book doesn't have enough of them. And if you like adventure stories, then you should give it a try. So yeah, in the month of March, I read 6 books, which is okay for me. I normally read about 4 or 5. 6 makes me beyond happy. Now let's see the books that I plan on reading in April. Let's go. The first book I plan on reading in April is Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm actually almost done with it now that I'm filming it. I wanted to reread the book as soon as possible just to take in all the information that it had to give me. I have never felt the need to do something like this with a book, and I'm so happy to be reading this book again. I'm almost finished with it. And yeah, as I said before, I will make a detailed video about how I feel about this book once I finish my reread, so stay tuned for that. The next book that I will be reading in April for sure is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is the next book that we will be reading in my book club with my friends. Some of them have already started it and they said that it was a bit depressing. But yeah, I'm excited to be reading this book. I've been wanting to read an N.K. Jemisin book for a while now, and I think this is one of her more beloved series. This is actually maybe I think this is actually a post-apocalyptic dystopian sci-fi thing, series book. I'm not sure, and I will be going in without knowing much about the book, and hopefully I will like this book. But if not, if I don't like it, the good thing is that it will save me so much money because I will not want to buy any N.K. Jemisin book, and I think she has a lot out. I will talk about this book when I am done with reading it. The next book that I will definitely be reading because I finally feel ready to pick this book up. I have been wanting to read this book for so many months. I don't want to say years. But this book is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. The cover is gorgeous. This book takes place in a library as a person who wants to write a story that takes place in a library. I really want to see how this book executes that setting so I can be inspired by it, so maybe I can have an idea of how I can work my own story. The third book in this, I don't know if it's a trilogy or not. If this series comes out in the next few days, I have pre-ordered it and I have the second book ready to read if I love the first one. So yeah, I think this is the month that this will happen. And lastly, I have to talk about 2 books that I am thinking of reading this month. Hopefully, I will get to one of them at least. Maybe both, I'm not sure. The first one is Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I think this will be a heartbreaking read, and I have been putting it off because the trilogy is very intimidating for me. I think this will make me think, and not all days are good for thinking. This is very loved in the booktube, book talk community, and I think this year I want to read every R.F. Kuang book that is out. I have only read Yellowface at the moment. But Poppy War is the next one that I will be reading, and as soon as I finish with this series, I think Babel will be next, and finally Catabasis that I have already pre-ordered, which I think will be my favorite RF Kong book. Maybe, we'll see. And yeah, this is one of the options. And the next option is Onyx Storm. It's not that I am in love with the series, but I want to be caught up with it so I can know what people talk about, and I want to be in with the jokes. So yeah, I think the fourth book will take a while to be released, so it's not like I'm in a rush to read Onyx Storm. I just want to be done with it so I can get all the available information that there is about this series in my head, and yeah, maybe make some funny videos about how stupid Violet Sorrengail is. These are all the books that I have read in the past month, and I will maybe be reading in the next month. Tell me down in the comments what you are currently reading and what books that you hope that you will be reading next month, or your favorite book of last month. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you can get notified about when I post new videos. I will see you again in another video soon. Thank you. Goodbye.